Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 tips for when you decide to start a multi member LLC. Welcome back from the weekend. Excited to start a brand new Monday. Happy to have you here. If you're joining us live, please make sure to leave a comment below. Let me know where you're from, any questions you have, because I'm happy to answer them as we go. Actually, no, I take that back. I will save the questions for the end, but go ahead and leave them in the box, and I will happy to do it. I don't know why my voice sounds this way, but I hope it sounds okay. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm happy to be here. As you can see, my background is coming along. I've got stuff happening. I've got stuff up a little more. So that's pretty cool. Very thrilled to be able to finally get stuff done. So if you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. I go live Monday through Friday, except for holidays and the occasional I have to do stuff with my family, doctor's appointments and whatnot. But generally, I'm here Monday through Friday at 11. So please join me live. I would love to have you. It would be exciting to get to talk to you, answer questions, hang out and chat. I do have, and this is something that I'm going to be, as more people join, I'm going to be doing this, where that's supposed to be a chat box. About that one? No. Okay, then. All right. Well, anyway, I guess I have to fix that. So there's supposed to be there we go, right there. There's supposed to be a chat box right there. Now, I don't know if it's because nobody's here chatting, but anyway, so I'm going to fix that for when people are chatting. So I hope you guys have a great Monday and a great week. So let's get started. All right. So starting a company is a big deal and should be celebrated. I don't drink, but if you do, get some wine, get something, get some champagne, whatever, and celebrate, because starting a company is not for the weak or the faint of heart. And anybody that says otherwise is wrong. I've helped many people start businesses throughout my time, and it takes a special person. So it takes a unique person. So take a moment and pause and celebrate and enjoy that you've come this far, because it's not something you should treat lightly. So, number one. Now, this should happen before you get that business entity started. Number one, you need to vet each other. I don't care if it's someone you've known for years. You need to sit down and have a good talk with them. It's not unlike a dating or potentially marriage relationship, where you want to know that person. You want to know them well. You don't want to just think that they're going to solve all your problems. I've seen this happen quite a bit when people go into business with each other, and they look at the relationship with rose-colored glasses, and rather than making sure that the other party is good at not just at their job, but potentially at ownership, right? Because it's not just about being good at your job. Once you're a business owner, it's about being good at being an owner as well. And a lot of people mistake those two. They don't think about those two. And so you want to fully vet. Like, this should be a lengthy time process, that you shouldn't just enter into a partnership, because I mean that's essentially what it is. It might be characterized as an LLC, but you don't want to enter into a partnership essentially without knowing fully well what that party brings to the table and their cons. Like, we all have issues. We all have things that we struggle with. It doesn't matter who you are. But it's better to know about it before you get into that multi-member LLC relationship than after. After can be very devastating. And that's why I put in the caption of this that it could save your life, because I've seen people that go into this haphazardly, it ruin their life, their financial life anyway. And in some instances, their outside financial life. So keep that type of thought process in mind as you go through this. This is probably one of the more common ones that I see, is that you need to be patient. Don't rush. If it's a good fit, it'll be a good fit tomorrow, so to speak. Tomorrow being metaphorically speaking, not literally speaking. So if someone's trying to pressure you or rush you into doing something because they can't blah, 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 fill in the blank, it's probably not going to be a good fit for you. You're going to potentially regret that. No good relationships ever come at the forgive the analogy, but at the barrel of a gun, right? Like, no good relationship. You want them to want you, and you want to want them, and it's got to be this give and take type thing. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. No one is 100% perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes poor choices. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm not telling you to look for perfection. I'm telling you to look for good and bad so that you know the full, complete picture of that person. And the same should be true for you. This isn't a one-way street. You should be willing to put all of your cards on the table. You should be willing to give them all of the information that they need to make a good decision and make a comfortable decision for them, so that you're taking off those rose-colored glasses, right? One of my friends said, in regards to life and marriage and relationships, it's much better to go into that relationship with your eyes wide open, and then once you're in that relationship, have your eyes partially shut, because people are going to annoy you, people are going to upset you, people are going to make bad choices. Accept it. Don't expect them to be something that they're not. Don't expect them to be better than they are. That isn't to say that they're going to be bad or that they're going to hurt you intentionally. It's more likely than not, it's a human thing that they end up negatively doing, right? They have their foibles just like you do. Be patient. One of the things that I like to tell people is be patient with yourself and others. Things take longer than you'd like and cost more than you would hope. I know this is like, well, this is business advice, really? Well, business advice is life advice, right? The people that go into relationships, whether it be business or otherwise, thinking that the other party's going to solve all their problems and that there's going to be nothing bad that happens, it's going to end up badly for everybody. So I can't tell you this enough, because I see it on the business side. Okay. So that's number 2. Be patient. Don't rush. Just enjoy the ride. Enjoy getting to know the party, if it is that. Okay. In a business sense. Again, they might be new to ownership, just like you might be new to ownership. There's going to be mistakes. It's okay. It's also better if you can avoid those mistakes by hiring people like accountants, attorneys, bookkeepers, people that can help you. I get it when you're in the beginning of a startup that you may not have the time or the money to do that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, the sooner you can hire those positions that can handle those things, the better you can do at the ownership part, the building, the vision, the things that are better resources of your time. Okay. Here's something that a lot of people get wrong, is that if it's not right, if the relationship between you and that other member isn't right, walk away. It's okay. Better to walk away as friends than to destroy your life and it hurt you financially and it destroy your business because you made bad choices. So keep that in mind. Walk away. It's okay if the other party isn't the right fit or you're not the right fit. Either start the business on your own or let the other party start the business on their own. But don't try to fit a square peg into a round hole. It's a recipe for disaster. You're going to end up hating him, and it's going to end up badly. Okay? Or her, whatever. I'm not saying it has to be a him or a her. I'm just saying, like, whoever it is, okay? So if it's not right, it's okay to walk away. Give yourself permission right now to walk away from it. Start it on your own. Okay. Next thing is, and this one is a fairly popular saying, but I think it applies in multi-member agreements, is trust but verify. Both parties. You should be able to completely trust them as much as possible, as much as another party you can trust. Okay. That means this is why it's so important to build this good relationship with them, because it can either ruin you or you can have smashing success. The problem is most people think that they can just enter into this multi-member relationship and that it's going to be an automatic success because of the other party. Well, that doesn't take into account all of the externalities that cause problems within a partnership. So you want to trust them, right? You're going to have to trust them. If you're going to enter into a partnership, you're going to have to trust them. But verify. Make sure that what they're telling you is true. And eventually, you won't have to verify as much. But the people that fail to verify, the people that make those bad choices, are the ones that end up being kicked out of their own companies, bad things happening, huge, crazy expensive legal fights that don't need to happen. Okay. It is insane to me that people think that they can get away with, not preparing properly for a business and then wonder why they end up in a huge lawsuit. It doesn't make sense to me. And that brings me to the fifth and final tip. Always, 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 always get it in writing. Your operating agreement should be clear, crystal clear about everything. Now, there's one other document that's less well known, but should be equally as clear and useful in a multi-member. You should not enter a multi-member relationship without one of these. And this is called a buy-sell agreement. Okay. Crap happens. A buy-sell agreement, simply put, is like a business prenup. It covers the 5 Ds: death, divorce, dissolution, disagreement, and disability. Okay. Those 5 Ds are the things that destroy businesses, especially when they're small. And this buy-sell agreement outlines how each party could leave the company with their dignity intact, with their humanity intact, without having to fight over it. It's clear. It doesn't exist if you don't make it. Otherwise, it's the default rules of the law of how you exit a corporation or an LLC. In this instance, obviously, we're talking about LLCs. But the point is, and the simple fact is, all of this stuff can be done so much cheaper. I should say less expensive. I don't like the word cheap, but so much less expensive if you have a buy-sell agreement. Like, seriously, I'm not even kidding you. A buy-sell agreement is like one of those best-kept secrets. Guess what? LegalZoom and Legal Shield, they don't do that. Okay? They don't. They don't know how. Or they don't want to spend the resources. LegalZoom can't do it because all they can do is prepare the documents that are a piece of cake to do. Aren't that hard. Don't need to spend the money on that. But your operating agreement and your buy-sell agreement in a multi-member LLC are absolutely crucial. Like, you should not even start an LLC if you can't afford to do one. Not kidding you. Because what I can solve, and I'm just using this, every case is different, so please don't think that I'm using this as the amount that I'm talking about. But if I told you, okay, that I could solve your problem for $4,000 and litigation would cost you $20,000 for that same exact matter, wouldn't you want to spend the $4,000? Now, the next part of it is, and here's my point in all of this, is that if you don't want to spend the $20,000, I understand that, but also if you don't want the rest of your life ruined, because it's not just about the money. Maybe you don't even have the money. Maybe it's you don't have the time or energy to deal with the lawsuit or dispute. That's how it can ruin your life and your business. Because being in litigation is not fun. I don't know too many people that say, "Ooh, yeah, I can't wait to be sued." Doesn't happen. Nobody enjoys it. Should you protect yourself? Absolutely. But at the same time, and I've in life and in law, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I repeat this all the time. And I totally understand that you're like, but I don't have the money. Then wait. Wait to get into partnership with that person when you do have the money to do it. I'm not kidding. You should not start a business if you don't have the funds to properly do these things. Because number one, you're being penny wise and pound foolish. Okay. And number two, you're setting yourself up for failure. Not just failure in the ultimate whatever crap happens, but the successful businesses that I see are the ones that sit down and plan. Now, I'm not saying you have to have all of the answers in that category, but they've planned. And they keep planning, and they continue to plan, and they keep building, and they keep moving forward. That's how they win. The people that don't plan are the ones that end up in litigation because they think it'll never happen to them. The people that plan are the ones that don't end up in litigation because they think it could happen to them. So I cannot tell you this enough, like how inexpensive it is. If I can save you money, keep your head out of a lawsuit to help you keep building that business, and if you automatically accept that most businesses do not succeed, that's the reality. Now, my goal is to help you be different. That's why I do what I do. My goal is to give you the opportunity to be as successful as possible. But if you don't acknowledge that there's a possibility that you could fail, it'll never happen to you, you're putting your head in the sand. Which, by the way, I don't believe ostriches actually put their heads in the sand. I think it's just a saying. But the idea being is if you're too busy not acknowledging the realities of your existence in the business world, then how do you know how to get from point A to point B? If you're going on a wing and a prayer, I'm telling you right now, the market and business is too difficult for that. Do yourself a favor. Plan. I'm not saying you have to come up with a business plan. In a perfect world, you should. You should come up with a business plan. But I get that maybe you don't know how. Maybe it'll take too much time, but really will it? What if the difference between, success and failure is that plan? Or like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get hit, right? Well, so have plans, but be flexible. Have goals, but be flexible, right? There's answers to everything. And in this digital age, you have at your fingertips, like this video, the fact that you're on YouTube. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me pop in. Here we go. You have answers that you wouldn't have in previous generations. That's amazing. I love it. It's great. But you have to use the knowledge that you get from these videos. It's not just about, sucking in, gimme. It's about doing them. I would put money on that most of you will ignore what I say to do. Because somebody else has said something different. Your brother's, cousin's, uncle's, former first roommate, or some random person on the internet that has no education, or they did it their way and it worked out fine. I'm here to tell you, it's just like you wouldn't go to your brother's, cousin's, uncle's, former first roommate to have them perform surgery on you. You shouldn't go to someone that doesn't have your best interests at heart to help you with your business. It makes no sense. Yes, we're going to be more expensive, but just like a surgeon knows where to cut, they also know where not to cut, right? And you need that. You need not only what to do, but what not to do. Because we see these problems. We see litigation happen unnecessarily. That's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to happen to you. It's more likely to happen to you if you ignore professionals, if you ignore your accountant. How much more likely are you going to get audited if you ignore your accountant and it's the IRS is on your back? Your bookkeeper, you're not paying them. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. You ignore legal counsel. Can you? Yeah, sure. I see it happen all the time. There's no judging here. But should you? That's a different matter entirely. Listen to the people that have gone to school for years to get that type of knowledge because, well, we know what we're talking about. And I'm not saying like in every category. There's some things we don't know. But I'm happy to do the research. Okay? That's what I love to do. I love to answer questions, but I also love to do the research. So if something doesn't fit within that thing, we run into this everybody knows everything on the internet. The problem is they know very little of depth. They know a lot when it comes to a lot of things, but they don't know a lot of depth. And so be careful on who you get your advice from, because you never know who they are, whose interest they have in their heart. I tell you what, I guarantee you Legal Shield and LegalZoom don't. They don't. I've seen their work. I've seen how crappy they treat their customers or their clients. I've seen the work product that comes out of them. This wasn't meant to be a bashing thing, but I'm saying this DIY world isn't always the best solution. There are things that are absolutely DIY, things you should do yourself, can do yourself. But I'll give you a great for instance, things that I shouldn't do myself. Okay? I had someone, thank you to Mark Cuthbert, come and help me hang some signs, do the thing right. Because guess what? When I was left to my own devices, if I could show you, if I could turn the camera around, you would see the sound panels that I have up on the opposite wall that are behind the camera, okay, that help keep the sound dampening, right? And true story, I tried it myself. I did it myself. The problem is I experienced continental drift. They started out fine. They started out like this, but they swoop up on accident. It wasn't on purpose. I didn't do it intentionally. It's that's not my training. That's not where I'm good at. I should have waited and had somebody else do it because that's what they're good at. So I waited, and that's the product. They're level. They're straight. They look good because I got someone who's a professional to do it. One time I kid you not, I had a accounting, I was on a Facebook group, and this accounting PhD hops on. We're talking about business entity. And he's like, yeah, I never recommend them getting a business entity. I'm like, well, okay, you're an accountant, but what does that have to do with anything? And the accountant said, well, nobody ever keeps up with the formalities of the business, so it just usually opens them up to a problem later. I always just recommend liability insurance. Okay, well, first of all, and I say this to all of my professional friends, and I mean this, I'm not consulting on criminal defense attorney matters, right? Because that's not my lane. I'm staying in my lane. I'm talking about business things. And so I would counsel people to stay in their lane, right? I stay in my lane for a very good reason. But I would never counsel you to just have liability insurance. I would tell you to have multiple layers of protection. I like to use the Shrek analogy. Ogres are like layers, are like onions. There we go. Ogres are like onions. They have layers, right? Your protections should have layers as well. You should be protected in multiple ways. If anybody ever says, oh, just do this, they're probably wrong. That PhD person was wrong. Now, if I needed help with accounting, sure, I'll talk to him, maybe, but he kind of blew some trust there. I don't trust him to be a good accountant if he can't recognize that Other people might have more knowledge than he does. All right. So avoid handshake deals. This is kind of the final thing to the get it in writing. As I've said multiple times, in case you haven't heard it before, I hope you have. But if it goes without saying, it usually goes better with saying, which translates into get it in writing. Don't leave it to people's memory that's fallible, that makes mistakes, that, I'm not perfect, you're not perfect. Accept the realities of who's perfect and not perfect. And get it in writing. It's the safest, best way possible. Thank you so much for joining me today. I see there's a few of you on. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the chat or leave them below. I would love to answer them. I look forward to helping you. And if you have any more questions, I go live, like I said, Monday through Friday, except for holidays, at 11. So please stop in, and I'll get that chat box fixed so that I can put your chats up on the screen and we can make that happen, because that'll be fun to be able to see what you're saying up there. So until next time, we'll see you later. Take care. And don't forget to subscribe and notify that bell icon so you're notified when we go live. Talk to you later.